welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we have another whiskey on the cask. And again, it's kind of a celebrity whiskey. And the whiskey is called Number 9. And it's also called the Slipknot Number 9. Yeah, actually it is Slipknot like the band, the nu metal band. And disclaimer here, I really don't have a clue about either Slipknot or nu metal. So I'm just here about to tell you about the whiskey. And we have an employee who is kind of into that, and he was up in arms and like, yes, I need to have this right away. Yeah, the Number 9 Iowa whiskey is a cooperation between Slipknot, the band founder Shawn Clown Crahan, and he comes from Iowa, and he worked together with the distillery Cedar Ridge, and they made this whiskey together. And I think I've seen somewhere on here that it's a 3-year-old. Aged a minimum of 3 years in American oak casks. Cedar Ridge Distillery, Swisher, Iowa, USA. Yeah, and they even tell you the mash bill. The mash bill is 51% corn, so they could call it a bourbon. I'm not quite sure if they do. And then we have 35% malted rye and 15% malted barley. So 35% rye. So this should be a bit of a rougher, more tougher bourbon, rough and tough bourbon that goes a little bit into the rye whiskey character. So I've never had any whiskey from the Cedar Ridge distillery, so I'm not quite sure how that compares to their standard distilleries. So I'm just gonna comment on it, on its own. 45% ABV, and cheers. Buttery and spicy, kind of that cinnamon spice. Butter as in not caramelized butter, or that brown butter when you make pancakes and you leave the butter in too long and it becomes a little bit brown. Also there's oak in there, so you have a lot of smell in there. Almost no fruitiness at all. You have that warm round caramel, a little bit of sweetness as well. But it's spicy and strong. So that's probably what they're looking for with Slipknot, because metal is always a bit harder from the outside. Oh, very, very sweet, but spicy. It's a sweet and spicy mixture. Not old, a little bit of a very little oak influence with buttery notes, apples. It feels like a bit of an apple pie with cinnamon. You know, that cinnamon apple flavor that is very often in cakes or something. So apple cinnamon cake with a few more spices, a little bit of a peppery note, and in the nose there's more oak. So a little bit of nuttiness. It's strange. They have a good mixture. The 35% rye and the malted barley. That's a good mash bill. So it's not a very old whiskey. It's a fresh and young one, but it has a nice mixture of flavors in there. I suppose that the Cedar Ridge distillery is a young distillery, a new distillery. They do good stuff. Maybe that's just the best of the best for them because they wanted to shine when they worked together with the famous band Slipknot. But not a bad stuff they did. Still a bit young, so they could have a few more years in the cask. That would not be bad for them. But it's a nice drinking whiskey. It's not a whiskey that you'd enjoy on your side because of all the spiciness and all the flavor. It's not a very pleasant, easy downing whiskey, but it's a sipping whiskey with a lot of influence, a lot of intensity. Probably just like the guys from Slipknot wanted. Haven't heard anything about that, but a nice mixture between fruitiness and spiciness. So that was my take on the Slipknot number 9. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video, then feel free to give it a thumbs up, and see you next time.